first thing I want to discuss when it comes to training for effective fat loss is how to not train for effective fat loss, as so many of you women get this completely wrong. Now, a lot of women simply opt for cardio as they think that it's the most effective exercise for fat loss, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Cardio is actually the least effective training you can do for fat loss, believe it or not. And in fact, cardio can actually prevent fat loss as it has an effect on a certain hormone that can prevent fat loss. Now, most people do way too much cardio anyway. They do it like 5 to 7 times per week and for an hour or two at a time. And that's great if you want to be a marathon runner, but not great if you want to burn fat. So don't make the mistake that a lot of women make when it comes to training for fat loss. Don't get fitness training and fat loss training confused. They are pretty much worlds apart. They're completely different. Yeah, running is great for fitness, but for fat loss, it's not really effective at all. The next thing I want to talk about is fitness classes like Zumba, Pump, Attack, also boot camps. Most of these classes are actually based on cardio, and again, cardio is least effective for fat loss. Doing a lot of cardio will burn away your lean muscle, which will actually make fat loss a lot harder because of the effect it has on your metabolism. And as I said earlier, don't get fat loss confused with fitness. And these classes are actually better for fitness than they are for fat loss. And that's why you have probably noticed that your fitness has improved a lot while doing these fitness classes, but the fat loss has been minimal as these classes are simply not ideal and not designed for fat loss. And that's the reason they are called fitness classes and not fat loss classes. Now, while some of these classes involve a bit of resistance training, it's not really periodized or programmed correctly for fat loss, as there's no real emphasis put on progressive overload, and you pretty much just go through the motions with these classes and do more or less just waste energy doing pointless crap. So most of the people who run these classes, they're actually very inexperienced most of the time and often only have a Cert 3 in fitness, so they lack a lot of knowledge. Okay, the next topic I want to discuss is another very popular topic, and that is high reps and light weights is not more effective for fat loss than heavy weights with low reps. Now, high reps and low weight has one good use, and that's wasting your energy and wasting your time. Now, a lot of women are scared to lift heavy weights in fear of bulking up, but this simply will not happen. The only way women put on any significant bulk or muscle is if they take steroids. Otherwise, it will only increase your lean muscle by small amounts, allowing you to actually burn fat at rest and flatten your stomach, plus tone up your butt, legs, arms, your back. Okay, so don't be afraid to lift and lift heavy weights. It's not going to make you big and bulky. Now, the next popular training myth that prevents a lot of women from training effectively for fat loss is that they train too much and for too long. So if you are doing more than 5 training sessions per week, you're doing something wrong. If you are training for more than 45 minutes for fat loss, you are also doing something wrong. Now, training for too long, especially for women, is a huge no-no. It will only increase your fat-storing hormones, which will actually be making fat loss harder. So based on what we have covered, you will already know if there's some things you are doing that are not the most effective towards reaching your fat loss goals. So however, if you start making changes, you will not only get better results with your fat loss, you will also be able to train less, which will mean less time at the gym, less time training in general, and more time for other things, fun things like family, friends, and whatever else you want to do. So what could you be doing differently with your training to make it a lot more effective? Now, just comment below and let me know. That's it for today. Keep an eye out for part 2.